Hello. In 2019, the highest paid athlete in the world was Argentine footballer named Lionel Messi, and his talent. Dribbling a ball down a pitch and putting it past a goalkeeper, its skills are revered by fans and corporate sponsors alike. That's in 1920, the Messi took home $1,004 million. That's almost $2 million for every goal he scored in a season. He is pretty spectacular athlete best any standard. But why it's a Messi's particular skills are so valuable? Sure, there are obvious answers. We just have enormous respect for athletic prowess. We love human competition and sports unite generations. You can enjoy watching soccer with your grandfather and your granddaughter alike. But growing up, I admired a different sort of athlete. I didn't just want to bend it like Beckham. I loved video games, and I was floored by the intricate strategies and precision reflexes required to play them well. To me, they were equally admirable to anything taking place in study around the world, and I still feel that way. Today, I still love video games. I founded successful companies in the space, and I have even written a book about the industry. But most importantly, I have discovered I'm not alone because I have grown up, so has gaming. And today, millions of players around the world need to complete the gaming centers like these highlights and large gaming tournaments. Like the League of Legends World Championship can reach over 1,000 million viewers online. That's more than some Super Bowls. And Lionel Messi isn't the only pro getting paid for his skills. Top game teams can take home $15 million or more from a single tournament like Dota's Invitational. And all this is why traditional sports stars from David Beckham to Shaquille O'Neal and are investing in competitive games, transforming our industry now called esports into a $27 billion phenomenon almost overnight. But despite all this, the skills required to be a pro gamer still don't get much respect. Parents hound their gaming love kids to go outside to do something useful, take up a real sport, and I'm not saying that physical activity isn't important or that esports are somehow better than traditional sports. What I want to argue is that it takes a real skill to be good at competitive video games. So let's take a look at the skills required to win a Fortnite, League of Legends, Rocket League, some of today's most popular esports. Now all of these games are very different. League of Legends is about controlling a magical champion as the siege of opposing fortress with spells and abilities. Fortnite is a parachuting into a 100-person free-for-all on a tropical island paradise, and Rocket League is soccer with cars which, while it may sound strange, I promise it's incredibly fun. And yet, all of these three sports, despite their differences, and most competitive games actually have three common categories of skill, and I'm going to take you through each in turn. The first type of skill required to master esports is mechanical skill, sometimes referred to as a micro. Mechanical skill governs activating and aiming in game abilities with a pixel perfect accuracy. And I had most likely mechanical skill to playing an instrument like piano. There is a musical flow and a timing to predict in your opponent's actions and reactions. And crucially, just like piano, top sports pros hit dozens of keys at once. Gamers regularly achieve APMs or actions per minute of 300 or more, which is roughly one command of every fifth of a second in a particularly mechanically demanding sports like StarCraft. Top pros achieve APMs of 600 or more, allowing them to literally control entire armies one unit at a time. To give you an idea of how difficult his is, imagine a classic game like Super Mario Bros. But instead of controlling one Mario, there are now 200, and instead of playing on one screen, you are playing across dozens, each set a different level of or stage. And now Mario can just run or jump, but he has new powers, teleportations, cannon blasts, things like that that have to be activated with split second timing. Yeah, it's really hard to play mechanically demanding sports like StarCraft well. Now the second category of skill required to master sports is strategic skill, sometimes called a macro. and this governs the larger tactical choices gamers make. And I'd like in strategic skill to master of chess. You have to plan attacks and counterattacks and manipulate the digital battlefield to your advantage. But crucially, unlike chess, a sport are constantly evolving. Popular sports like Fortnite can patch almost every week, and even the most competitive sports like Rainbow Six Siege update every quarter. And these same changes are just cosmetic. They introduce new abilities, new heroes, new maps, constant changes requires adaptivity. It asks sports pros to do more than just practice, but to theorize and invent. Now gamers call this constantly evolving suite of strategies the meta, short for the meta game. And it would be like if every few weeks the rules of basketball fundamentally evolved, maybe 3 pointers and now worth 5 points, or NBA pros can dribble out of bounds. If this happened, basketball will permit for new strategies to win games, and the teams that discovered these new strategies first would have a big, if temporary advantage. And this is exactly what happens in esports every time there is a patch or update. Competitive gaming reward its most creative and unconventional thinkers with the free wins. Now the last category of skill regarded to be got at esports is leadership. Sometimes it's referred to as shot calling. Sports pros are constantly in private voice chat communications with their teammates, supplemented by a system of in-game pings. This is what allows a team of League of Legends pros to coordinate a spectacular barrage of 5-man ultimates, flashing in to capitalize on a minor mispositioning by their opponents. And leadership skill is also what allows the game captains to rally their teammates in moments of crisis and inspires them to make one last risky all-in assault on the opposing base. And I had argue this is the same type of leadership exuded by executive and team captains everywhere. It's the ability to seize opportunity clearly and decisively, communicate decisions, and inspire others to follow your lead. And all these three categories of skill, mechanical, strategic, and leadership, they have a crucial element in common. They are almost entirely mental. Unlike my ability to have a basketball career at 5'10", sports doesn't care how tall I am, what gender I identify as, how old I am. In fact, sport controllers can even be adapted to pros with unique physical needs. Look at gamers like Broly Legs, who can move his arms or legs, or half coordinated, who has limited of his right hand, and these pros don't just complete the set of records. No, I'm not here to argue that esports is some of sort of digital racing paradise. Our industry has real issues to address, particularly around inclusivity for women, marginalized groups, and those without equitable access to technology. But just because sports has a long way to go doesn't mean its skills don't deserve respect. And what particularly bugs me in how often we ascribe such enormous value to traditional athletic talents of the fields. How many times we have been a job interview setting, let's say, and heard somebody say something like, "Well, John, it's a phenomenally qualified candidate. He was captain of his college lacrosse team, really. And John is going to be a great digital marketer because he can hurl a ball really far with a stick." Come on, we would not apply that logic anywhere else. Stand aside, scientists. Sarah is my choice to repair the nuclear reactor. After all, she played varsity soccer. Now, what we mean when we say John or Sarah is phenomenally qualified for a job is that because of their experiences playing traditional sports, they have developed traits with real value in the workplace. Diligence, for example, perseverance, teamwork, and think of how we just describe a sports to you. Doesn't it sound like a mechanical skill, strategic skill, leadership? Wouldn't those develop all of those same traits to And more to the point, in today's fast-paced digital office environment, and I think I might rather to have a pro gamer on my team on a traditional athlete. After all, I know they can be charismatic and decisive over a voice chat, and I'm sure doing a lot of Zoom calls today in my business. So maybe no, I have convinced you that sports and video games deserve a little more respect, but if not, let me try to make one last final appeal because look at it his way. Our society is changing. Technology is fundamentally infiltrating every aspect of our daily lives and transforming everything from how we work to how we fall in love. And why should sports be any different? I think of my own childhood. I grew up watching the World Cup with my family, and I learned to love soccer in large part because I watched it with my dad, it was my granddad. And I would have loved doing anything with him. And now I think of my sons, of my own sons, but instead of soccer, we are watching a sports, not the violent ones, mind you. But I'm building the same sort of memories with my kids that my father did with me. We're marveling at the same skill and reveling in the same victory. It's an identical feeling of pure awe and excitement. It's just a different game.